I'll talk about AirPods. This is a growing problem because teenagers and adults alike have stopped doing this with their phone, talking on the ear. Most people don't do that, or some people use speakerphone. And the reality is that they use AirPods and it's close to their brain. It's a generally lower power density, but we don't have no knowledge of what is the safe level of EMF. So we don't even know if, it's any safer using AirPods compared to a phone, AirPods connected to a phone versus using the phone to your head. So the reality is that this is a difficult thing. I'm wondering, Brian, how you think about it. But what I'll share is I told parents, can you make a deal with your teenagers that if they're stationary, like studying, playing video games, just chilling on the sofa, can they use the wired solution? So have them have a pair of wired headphones that they can switch, and you expect them to make an effort to switch to the wires when the wires aren't that, annoying. I'm not moving around. If I were, they would fall off my ear. I would get irritated. Maybe if I do a workout, I wouldn't be using those. I don't use AirPods. Obviously, I try to walk my talk, but what do you communicate to people, including teenagers or adults that are using AirPods? Like how should we think about solutions for those?
Yeah. So the AirPod discussion is interesting because a lot of parents are like asking about those wave block stickers you put on them that have the aluminum shield, and it shows a reduction in the intensity, the field strength on those. So like, if your teenager absolutely already has the AirPods and they're using them and it's going to be like a big fight between you, then that's the place where that might be a lesser of two evils, of him. Like, they're not going to stop using them. At least you can get the wave block like stickers and put them over them. Or alternatively, if you don't want to spend the money on that, which I would, because it actually you can't tell that they're on there at all. But if your kid doesn't care and you have just some conductive shielding tape left over from a shielding project, you can literally cut a piece of that and put it around the AirPods and it'll do the same exact thing as those. And it's like way less expensive. But I think it's worth the price to get the aesthetic, like looking nice.
Yeah, they don't want to have their friends tell them, that their AirPods aren't as good or things like that. Like, it's so important what people think of you at that age. So yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So, but like if they're like, hey, my kid wants to get AirPods, I would be like, just while you have them, say no, and get them something that looks like AirPods that's wired. Because there's a lot of wired headphones you can get on Amazon that look like AirPods, but they're wired.
Okay.
And you can get them in USB-C direct, so you can connect it directly. And that's what I've done for my kids is like AirPods are a no. It's like you have two radiating antennas on either side of the head. So even if you have the protection on there with the wave block or whatever, it's still right next to the head and it's still way too high to like feel like, hey, it's just fine. Just use these little stickers and then you're these sticker shields and then you're good. It's not that easy. So if you can avoid it, I would say avoid it completely. While, don't let them, if they've already got them, it's going to be hard to take them away. That could put a wedge between that relationship. And that's the other thing about teenagers and even Gen Z is like, we have to teach them how to use technology safely instead of taking the technology away from them. And so that's super important. And often the parent, depending on the relationship, often the parent is not going to be the one that's going to initiate change for the teenager. A lot of teenagers are in sort of a rebellion or a figuring out their identity stage. And even in this Gen Z generation, it's kind of like that. They want things to be their own. They want ownership over things. They want to decide for themselves at that stage. And so like nudging them in the right direction or just saying like, hey, I want you to make a good decision about this. But, at this stage, like in the last generation, we were talking in Generation Alpha, we were talking about how you should educate your children on like why. Same thing here in Gen Z, you just do it in a higher level, different way. Like, hey, you're becoming an adult. I want you to understand like the ramifications of using this versus not using it. I know there is some controversy here, but ultimately I want you to make your own decision, but I want you to understand that there are like, here are all the options, and you lay them out for them as if they're an adult making a decision, but you're also kind of guiding them through the process. Because at this stage, they need to be guided through how to be an adult in every single area of their life. But and the EMF question is no different. So like, how do you research what car to get so that like EMF isn't a huge concern? How do you research what phone to get, or how to use a phone, or what the best phone case is, and understanding that, and then like teaching them, maybe the best way to do it is to teach them about their bed space and showing them the cables and like giving them an EMF meter and showing them all of that. But it's just kind of like the same as the last generation, but it's a step up, and it's giving them more independence. And you have to give them independence, otherwise they'll rebel if you try. I've seen a lot of parents who are like arguing during the assessment with their teenager about like turning their Wi-Fi off and turning everything off. Hey, we talked about this. Like when we came, you agreed that you were going to shut all this stuff off so we could have an accurate test. And you're on your phone. He's picking up a signal on your phone, like while he's testing. And then that puts a wall between me and the teenager too. Mm-hmm. And then I become the bad guy, and then I can't advocate. So like at the one assessment in Colorado where the kid was showing me all the lights, his mom was a little bit overbearing with him on the issue of EMF, and she takes me aside. She's like, I always tell him like he needs to do this and this and this, and he never listens to me. Yeah. And all this stuff. And I was like, I'll talk to him. And so I went in there and I was like, look, your mom loves you. She wants to do what's best for you. She knows that this is an issue. I go around all the country. I work with professional athletes. I work with celebrities. I name drop a few names to them. And look, like this is an issue, and it's a cutting edge issue that a lot of people that are high performers are paying attention to. And so like, as you get older, you're going to see that like, this is a really big issue. Yeah. And like, I hate to admit it, but your mom, she's on the cutting edge of this. And so she kind of knows, but she can be, I know how it is to be a teenager. She can be, your mom can be a little overbearing sometimes when you're like, I just want to watch my show. I just want to do this or that. And so with all of that, like I basically tell him like, look, give her a little bit of a break. And like, here's some things you can do where you don't have to give up this or that. And, but that's the way I connected with him, and it worked. She came back to me later and was like, I don't know what you said to him, but like starting to do everything that I've wanted him to do forever. And I'm like, just keep your mouth shut. Don't even encourage it. Just put a smile on your face and be happy about it. And it's the relationship dynamics. You have to be aware of how your relationship is. Like my relationship with my daughter, I could ask her to stop something and she would know that I have a good reason for that. And ask me like, oh, what's wrong with this, Dad? Like, and then I would tell her, or she would do her own research and figure it out.
Hey, this is Nick, the EMF guy Pinot. I am the co-creator of the EMF Circle along with my colleague, Brian Hoyer from Shielded Healing. What you saw today, this short video, is a preview of the longer interview that we did for our Circle members. Every month, we have a masterclass like one of these or a Q&A session with me and Brian most of the time. So you get personal support and attention on your EMF reduction journey. So if you want to reduce EMF because you are personally sensitive, or you're just trying to take precautionary measures to better your health and minimize the risk associated with wireless and other types of EMFs, then the EMF Circle is the place to be. We have a ton of archives now. We have several months worth of Q&As that you can listen back to. Everything is recorded. You can either join live or just listen to the replay. So we have a cars masterclass masterclass. We have a free protection masterclass also that we did, and we're going to have several other masterclasses moving forward. So we hope that you join us inside the EMF Circle. Just visit emfcircle.com or click the link under the video to join us. I hope to see you then.